Hello and welcome back to another video. So it's a bit of a palaver this, but we'll try and work with what we've got. So I've got the microphone perched on the sofa, so let's hope it doesn't fall off and break it. Well, I thought I'd do a few laps with a few cars, and I apologise about the camera angle. Kind of the best I can do. I stupidly threw away my other web camera where I should have kept it, because it would have been really good for this. Could have had multiple views at once, obviously. But alas, it wasn't to be. So this is a BMW touring car. I picked this up at the car boot sale a couple of years ago, actually. I've done absolutely nothing to it. Literally just stuck a bit of oil on the pinion, let it flow into the spindle on the motor, and it performs really well. It's got low level magnet traction, which is how I sort of prefer my cars. I don't like them with the new sort of, I think they call them earth magnets, I think they're Neo something. They're extremely strong. You can fly around a course like this without barely letting go of the accelerator, and for me there's no thrill in that. So yeah, very decent car. It's what I absolutely love about Scalextric. Not only the fact that it's a tiny little motor being fed 12 volts that's powering a car around a slot car track, but also the fact that the handling characteristics are so different for each car. So that's the BMW anyway, and I can't really show you because you're so far away. But so I'll put an older car on now. I actually repaired this one the other day. It's a Ferrari GTO, I believe, and this doesn't have any magnet traction at all. It's got the original stock tyres on the back and some old Subaru Impreza ones I found on the front. So with all that being considered, she's a bit of a beast, and she's a little bit leery as well, so I'm not sure how well it's going to pick it up. Whenever you record these cars and watch them back, they're absolutely flying. Like this probably looks fast now, and that's me crawling round. So obviously when I give it a blip, it's a flying machine. Yeah, this has to be the best car I've ever used that doesn't have a magnet. So it must have an incredible body shape, and the way that the axles, the distance, it's just pretty much bob on. I mean, if you want to be really sneaky, I suppose you could stick a magnet in it, and then it would be a real powerhouse. But I do like to leave things original as best as they can be. Now, I've been around this track enough now since I built it the other day, and I sort of ironed out all the kinks in terms of coming off the track or hitting barriers. But not a bad course. Not a bad course at all. Just get that round to the finish line, and I'll stick another car on. Why not stick Colin McRae's Ford Focus on? Give that a whirl round. Shout out to Pacific State. All my videos now, whenever I have music in the background, it always like comes up, you know, copyright protection, and it's going to have an advert on the video, and I just think it's hilarious, really, because you know, when the video is going to get like 100 views, like how much money are they expecting to make out these adverts? I can guarantee most of the people who subscribe to my channel are coy enough that they've probably got ad blocking software anyway, so kind of a wasted effort. Now this is this Focus. I actually bought new tyres for this a few years ago. It makes such a difference, the tyres on a car. Can completely transform the handling. As silly as it sounds, you can actually get different kinds of tyres as well. I think you can get polyurethane and you can get silicone tyres. Oh, and that's unfortunate. actually stop there. So we'll try out Le Mans car now. That Focus was one of the first sets I ever picked up from down the car boot sale. And really love the cars. And they have had so much hammer, the Focus and the Subaru Impreza. They have been played with for hundreds of hours, and all I've ever done is change the braids. So these Le Mans cars, I also got these from the car boot sale. Quite often people would be selling like a selection of track and cars, and all the track would be rusty. And I've spent so much of my life cleaning track, and I've got so much track already, I really don't need it. So unless there's like a particularly interesting piece of track in there, like a skid chicane or Goodwood's chicane or something like that, or Humpback Bridge, I'm not really that interested. So I often just ask, you know, say they want, or whatever they want. I usually say we'll just sell the cars separately and then sort of make them an offer. It's probably about half what they want for everything, and generally people accept. I've even had people say to me, just give me £1 each for the cars before, so. Well, that's what happened with the 2 Le Mans cars. I think they need a bit of fine tuning. So I've really not looked at them, although I have got time now to take a look into it. It would help if I trued my tyres as well, but it's not something I've done. But considering the age of these cars, you know, it still goes along nicely, I think. I mean, all the cars I'm showing now are ones that I enjoy driving, I suppose you could say. And so yeah, that's the Le Mans car. Now these are actually my favourite Scalextric car. These are my most nostalgic Scalextric cars, these Sierras. I remember my cousin having the Sierra set, getting it for Christmas, and being absolutely distraught as me and my sister thought it was hilarious as the cars flew off the track, hit the skirting board, and wing mirrors were going flying everywhere, and spoilers were falling off and all the rest of it. But these are great. I think, to me, this is the ultimate Scalextric car. It's just perfect. A little bit of manual traction, very skitty in terms of control. Fantastic lights. It's got the brakes as well when you let go of the power. And just all round the best. I love the Sierras. I like the car and I love the slot car. I just think it's brilliant. And these must be old. This must have come out about 1989, I would have thought. Maybe very early 90s. It always stuck in my mind. And this is the thing, when I was actually younger, I had Scalextric track that I sort of acquired off my cousin and various other things like jumbo sales or whatever, but it never worked properly. I could never get a track that ran. So when I cleared out my mum's loft and discovered that you clean the track up, I went for it. And the vast majority of the time I can assemble a track and it works perfectly first time, which is absolutely brilliant. Of course, could have cut out all the hard work and just bought myself a few sets of sport track, which clips together really easily, although you do miss some of the great bits of track such as the Goodwood chicane and the Humpback Bridge. I'm unsure why Scalextric don't bring them back, to be honest. But I've played with some of the modern cars and they're very easy to keep on the track. It sort of takes away a lot of the fun. It's good for people who are just getting into it, but it's all about that sort of challenge of keeping the vehicle on the road. So we're going to go for something now. This is really old Porsche. Bought this when I went to one of the Scalextric shows. I think it was about £7. It's in absolutely immaculate condition. It doesn't look like tyres have ever been trued up or anything. It looks like someone bought it and didn't like the way it handled and never used it. But one of the first Magna traction cars, maybe it is the first Magna traction car. At this point the Magna is not amazing. The lighting on it is still brilliant though, very bright. It leads for some exciting driving. You have to be extremely careful. If you let the back end go out too much, it's troublesome times. It's a little bit like driving on ice. And I do really love these Arc-Air wireless controllers. These are definitely new since the last time I made a proper Scalextric video. I have had some problems with them, but since I plugged it back in the other day, no issues whatsoever. So happy days. I've actually just got, because it is the sport track, so I've just sort of got the sports beginning there, a few other bits of sports track, not very much at all, and then the converters back to the classic track. So the vast majority of this track is classic. The other thing I've really done wrong is, well, I don't know if it's wrong, but there's a lot of different types of Scalextric here. So I've got SCX track, I've got the Triang track, it's all mixed up. So on some corners, there's actually like SCX stuff is really grippy. You can feel the grit a lot more, so there's a bit of a mix-up. On that corner after the bridge, there's actually 3 bits of SCX track. It's easily changed if I was that bothered, but just makes it more interesting. The fact you're going to get more grip on certain pieces than others sort of determines when you've got to let go of the power, I guess. The thing I just love about Scalextric is you're so close to the limit. Like you think, oh, I could just go a little bit faster, but you go that little bit faster, and the car's coming off the track. And when you're racing with someone, that's where it always falls apart. As I say, slow and steady wins the race, and I've seen that on a number of occasions. Right, so we'll just go around with the Subaru Impreza and then probably call it a day. Certainly for the video. I'm not even using the easiest lane, to be fair. That's the other thing, is this is quite uneven in terms of how many outer corners you've got to take and how many inner corners. Oh, she's feeling a bit skitty. Ooh. She may need a bit of a service, this old girl, but when you talk about handling, this is probably the fastest car around any course I've got. It's an absolute machine. Oh, come off though, come off though. Now I wouldn't be surprised if this car was on its way out, because whenever I've played Scalextric people, this is always the car that everyone gravitates towards using. They all just want to use this because it's easiest to keep on the track. Which is fine, because that's the other beauty of, like, this track I'm on now is probably the hardest, so I would probably play on this track as sort of a handicap. And then obviously if the other person was as quick as this car and I couldn't catch them, then I'd put them on this inner track. You can put crossovers in. I've never really liked them. I think probably the crossovers on the corners work best, but I've just never been a fan. It leads to so many accidents. Obviously not when you're playing on your own, although potentially it can cause you to crash. You've got to be very careful about where you place them. So if it's an area where you're accelerating out of, your car's going to come off the track more often than not if you give it too much beans. So I've actually got 2 humpback bridges, because I went to a Scalextric show once. I had like a humpback bridge challenge. This track was just like made up of humpback bridges, and it was brilliant. It was so difficult to get round because you literally could not floor it. Oh, you just get a tiny little bit of air off mine. So that's it. It's just a few of the cars going around the track. As you can see, it flows quite well. I'm quite pleased with this track. I'll probably extend it because hey, I've got all the time in the world at the minute. But that's it for now, so stay safe, and hopefully I'll catch up with you soon.